How's it going, everyone? We got our first place winner, Jensen here, with his lovely yellow-red deck. Walk us through it.
Alrighty, I guess most people like to call this McDonald's. I just go with Happy Meal. For the most part, I don't think people are very happy when when I play it, but yeah, let's go ahead. First of all, I want to start off with the rookies. Let's see, I'm playing 4 Patamons and 4 Salamons. I think 8 is a very solid number for a deck like this, because for the most part you're not really in needs of getting your rookie out to be able to start your game off. It's a very reactive deck, so having a lower count is a lot better, and it reduces the chance of you actually getting into your security. So yep, that's basically my choices. I think most people know what these does. Let's see, and then with that, we're skipping our 4 costs and just jumping straight to our 5. So we have 3 Misties, basically to stop all the rookie rushes, or like the more aggro decks like Green and Rookie Rush. Basically how I take care of those on an early go, and usually a more reactive play against them. And we play 4 Magna Angemon, and this is where I like this deck a lot. If your opponent aren't really going too crazy on you and you need to basically take your own turn, Magna Angemon is one of the best cards for a more proactive play. Something that you're setting up on your turn so that you can go into this guy. I played 3 Seraphimons. Guess the most cases, Magna Angemon, you play it, you come in and you get a security, and even on a turn 1 you go to 6, which makes it very perfect on your second go for Seraphi, and you'll automatically get the inherited effects for a 2k boost for this guy, and just start swinging early, so for the more proactive play. And then the last yellow mega we play is 4 Magnadramon. This card is extremely powerful. I'm sure most people know that. For an 11 drop, getting 2 security back is huge, because it's basically what this deck is all about. And yeah, and let's continue on our yellow cards. We play 3 TK, one of the main guys to fix your security. Also check out what's in there available, see how well you're holding off if you were to take damage. Basically just to check if you're going to be taking or blocking, things in that sense. And then in our yellow options, we're playing 4 Eden's Javelin. Pretty self-explanatory. One of the better security check cards that is a removal. And then with that, we have 4 Seven Heavens as well. It's not the best security check card, seeing that there's a lot of stuff that it cannot hit, but I still really like this card, hence why I still have 4 in here, because of the chance that it can actually I guess save your game at points because of it. And then and to top it off, we have 2 Glorious Bursts. I really love this card, and I try to find ways to push it to 3, because it deals with a lot of megas in this game, especially Megazoo. If they have to drop, give you 10 to drop their 12, your 9 will take care of that, and you still have your turn to still play something else. So one of the best cards against Megazoo. Let's wrap it up. And even with Eden's Javelin, a lot of times I use it as a 1-for-1 just to even take care of smaller guys, because it just replaces a card in your hand. So I really like that card. Alright, moving on. Let's wrap these up over here.
At any point, do you feel like you want to change any other ratios besides for your options for yellow?
For the most part, most of the Digimons in this, I feel like are at a pretty neat ratio. I basically have 7 5s to go into just the 3 Seraphimons, and for the most part that'll take care of it. But these, I know some other lists are having these at 3, and I really dislike that. I feel like this card is just too powerful to go down in any number of size. It has to be 4. If I can go 5, I'll go higher. But yeah, Magnadramon is definitely the key to most victories. You're adding 2 cards back, but those 2 cards at the same time are basically removal in this deck sense. You're delaying the victory, and you're adding more removal to it, so that's why I love that card. Let's set these aside. So that was basically the yellow chunk of it, and let's move on to the red. Basically more of the harder removals in this, and let's start with the options first. We play 1 Plasma Stake. One, because there's a lot of stuff it can miss, and it's mainly against bigger decks, where your 1 hit will definitely change the game. I like this card a lot in the sense against like Ragna deck or more like Mega Zoo decks. It'll take care of most of the big guys. And in bad cases where you run into like a Millennium Mon, it's not going to get rid of it completely, but it'll definitely stall it out a little bit. For such a low cost for a cost, it'll definitely deal with most of the big megas. And 2 Shield of the Just. Basically to delay and slow down the game even more for a lower cost. In a sense, without a tamer, it's not the best, but with a tamer, it becomes a huge advantage. You're able to take down a lot of level 5s fairly easily in this, and in most cases 5s they cost around like 7 or 8, so with a red tamer this card is definitely more value. And no questions asked, the best red option out there, we have our 4 Gaia Force. Guess that's pretty self-explanatory. This kills anything you like, where see this guy's just throwing a big meal at you. And to get these card to actually cast from hand, we're playing 6 red cards. We're playing 3 Taikamiya. This card is really nice for such a low cost. For 2, it will set you up and give you a red tamer to be able to cast these from hand. And at the same time, we all know yellow is usually a lot smaller than most other colors. And it'll definitely give you the extra inch to budge through or survive in a push or an attack when you're on the offensive end. 3 Greymon. Security Greymons, basically, they, at times, we have a couple games where these do come in clutch and actually give me the extra swing to end the game, and at other points it would just be like a free trigger so that we're able to cast these from our hand. And I guess also these are the kind of the expendable units in the deck. You're always using these guys to check. They come, they go, totally fine. And let's see, that's all our red cards in this, and let's move on to our tech cards. I am playing 2 Craniamons. These are kind of the 2 cards that's always interchangeable. I guess whatever your locals is basically playing. If they're more rushy, I would change these to both to Volcanics. If they're more like going tall or like megas, I usually would rather they be 2 Machinedramons. But in this case, I was very worried about red decks at my locals, so I kind of want to get something that would deal with or like a target for a Gaia Force, things like that. Because red, I see this deck, I feel like the most issues it has is with red decks. So I feel like need to be more prepped for them. So Craniamon was my choice.
How did it work for you in today's tournament?
In the most cases for today's tournament, I didn't run into too much of a red issue. But for the most part, when these guys are down here, I did play against a red deck, and they chose to Gaia my smaller guys instead of him, which leaves a big blocker. So for the most part, I feel like that was extremely valuable. And if I were to go against like a yellow deck, for them to actually use a shine on this guy for 3 tamers for him, it would keep my other things alive for longer. So that was kind of the idea behind it. And with high Kamiya, it can definitely walk over or even trade with a good amount of stuff that's tapped down on the opponent's end. For the most part, this guy with Tai on swing will get rid of basically like all the Imperial Dramons, or even trade with a Millenniumon. It doesn't have a base to it, so yeah, that's the idea for the Cranias. And like I said, these are the most interchangeable cards within the deck, so just, I guess, tech for your locals. And I guess what I should have started with is coming to an end. My eggs. I'm playing all yellow eggs. There's no need to play reds. I'm playing 3 Upa and 4 Kewpie. It's I guess not a very normal split. Usually you play 4 of the best and like one of the, I guess, the more off-end ones. But in this case, this deck has such a burst proactive play. If you open with a Kewpie, you want to play more proactively. You just want to slam your Magna Angemons and start getting your pluses in. So basically, this, starting off with Kewpie, you want to just set your security to be as wide as possible and force your opponent to either go super wide, and you will kind of just bait them into a trap with your securities. And for later, Upamon is for the late game. If your opponents start withering you down, these will take care of it. And this matchup with most decks is actually a very long game. Your goal is to start withering them down and actually get rid of all their resources. So I chose to go with an extra count on the late game than the early game. And yeah, so that's basically the idea of this Happy Meal deck.
Any matches gave you any problems today?
Today I had most matches were pretty clean 2-0 swoops. I did have a little brick against one of the opponent with green, which should not be a problem for this deck. I played against a green deck. I did lose 1 round out of the 3, but it was just like a bricking issue where I drew most of my tamers in hand and kind of no Digimon or no options to be able to follow up when they went really wide. So like I said, for most part, this deck has a lot of 1-for-1 removals and not too much like board wipes. So if you know your locals is going to be playing a lot of rushy, go wide decks, I would definitely swap these guys out for maybe Volcanics. It'll be a lot better for you. And the kind of the card that was kind of like clutch today was definitely these guys. Those Misty definitely won me a couple of games. Board state changes really detrimentally when you're able to play this and get rid of 2 of their rookie units. Game just swings really big, so I love these guys. And my last round I played against a rookie rush deck, and like I said, these guys were kind of the main guy that won me the game. Dropping a 7 and getting 2 units off of the board is huge.
Yeah. How many tournaments have you played this deck in? Or a variant? A
variance of this. This is my 2nd week playing this. Last week I went 3-1, and my only loss was because of a deck that was built very specifically to play against this deck.
Really?
And yes.
What deck was that?
It was a red, basically a red Ragna deck. Ragna is able to basically go through security relatively quick. Went through like 3 or 4 at once. And the only
black
card,
build or the
red build.
Okay.
And it has to be very specifically the red build because of the card. There's a option card that kind of deals with this deck, you know, relatively well. Is what is that? Planned tactics, or what is that? A planned battle.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's the card that you choose one of your Digimons, and all security checks from that Digimon will not trigger any security effects.
Oh.
So
okay, I vaguely know what you're talking about.
Yes.
That's a very specific card.
Very specific card.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people play that card because it only deals in a scenario against this deck. So that deck was built very specifically to play against this, and I lost against that. It was basically drop your Ragna, it can swing for 4, and none of those would check anything. So
nice.
That was kind of the main issue. And then the other guy would be a War Greymon, the one that doesn't check security. But that one is relatively easier to take care of because he's much smaller than a Ragna. Yes.
Yeah, because it gets a +1 on security on Digi-Evolution, but every time it attacks, it's usually safe on security checks. And that's where you depend all your nasty skills from.
Yes.
So, well, that's cool. Well, I really appreciate you giving us a walkthrough. Do you see yourself still continuing playing this when we move on to set 4, or are you going to be trying out some other things?
I did take a look at BT4 to see what cards I was able to utilize to probably give this a little boost. In terms of the yellow and red options, there are not much of, like, they kind of simmer down under removal from these colors option, and it's more like a tempo thing, so probably none of the options from BT4 will be coming into this deck. But there are a few things that would need to find space to get in is maybe a Chaosmon, where your Serafi or your Magna can actually go into Chaos for additional removal. And Lucamon is the other one for you to play off of Magna. So currently the one of the tempo swing against more rush heavy decks is if I have Magna on the field for swing and you play a Pata off of it, you get your recovery and another body on unit, so the tempo just swings really wide on that. And with BT4, we can essentially do the same thing. On Magna swing, we can drop a Lucamon, and Lucamon does not even require does not have a requirement of you having 1 or less security. That one is just a drop and recover. It's a much bigger body, but also more trickier in a sense because it's not a rookie that you can just drop by itself.
Yeah. If you have a graveyard of 10 or more, I think it'll come out as a 5 cost.
Yes, you can just slam it down as a 5.
But normally this is the go-to to get them out for free.
Yes.
And on the on-play +1 security.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, any shout-outs you want to give? You've been mentioning Megazoo a lot. I wonder who one of your playtest partner is.
Oh, yes. Well, before I play this, I myself love playing the Megazoo deck as well. And I guess one of my biggest, in card games right now, my, I guess, mentor, friend, or crew, some guy named Anson, usually the guy that destroys me in card games, and kind of pummel me around to actually give me ideas of how it works. Play multiple card games together, and yeah, that's how we get this thing going. And he's a huge fan of that Megazoo deck too, so yeah, basically how it's mentioned. And back to how the guy that built the deck just to beat me, guys, Benny, usually the guy that mainly stops me from winning.
Ironically, the two that you mentioned are guys who tend to get first place here.
Yes. So yeah, my crew are usually the ones that take that first away from me. And we got our best Taskmaster Shine here too. Sitting just right to the side over here. He's the one that
I'm the chauffeur.
kind of whips us around and get us together so that we can play the game.
I mean, it's great to have a crew of players that are consistent because not only do you guys play Digimon, but you also play Final Fantasy TCG.
Yes,
and knowing that you have a variety of players that can, point out, hey, have you tried this? Or, just having people to play with in general is just great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do feel very lucky for that.
Well, thank you very much for your time. It was a great pleasure. Finally got that win. And now that's 3 out of the 4 of you guys that got first place here now. So we're just waiting on someone to get up there now. Right?
It's been bubbling in the 3-1 or 4-1 never get first place because somebody from my team always takes that from me.
Yeah, it's hilarious when, it's going to happen at some point where you guys will eventually bump into each other.
Yes.
It sucks when it's the first round, but at some point, even if you guys are separated from each other and you all manage to get your W's and the rounds get higher and higher up there, you're bound to fight each other. Happens
Yes.
like every freaking time.
Every card game. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
guys watching at home, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the notification, do whatever that other YouTube people tell you to do, and catch us next time.
Hit the bell icon too.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.